Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome to today's trade recap. Gonna go over the trade I took today, Monday, November 17th. Pretty A plus MAC and ABS reversal. So coming into the day, we were pretty bearish on the high time frame. During London, we ended up feeling this 4-hour. We rejected from it, and we just had overall a bearish order flow here. So my first draw coming into the day was this internal low here, which is sitting inside those gaps here. So that's the first like high time frame liquidity pool. Now we took this low during pre-market. So right here at 8:45, we ended up taking this low, and this actually gave a pretty nice MAC long here with this inversion. You could have targeted like this unfilled 5-minute here, and it's a pretty easy longs, but I wasn't looking at the charts pre-market. So coming into New York open at 9:30, I was waiting for the initial open with all the volatility, so we ended up opening lower here, resweeping these lows. Now I don't really count this move down as a nice manipulation move, because we're not really manipulating to anything. Like we just swept these lows, and this low right here is just a low that swept another low. This is not really a great liquidity pool. Like just because this low was a nice liquidity pool doesn't make this low a nice one. So I wouldn't try to long off of this sweep, even though that this move up here was already due since we had this resweep here. But I wasn't really looking into taking these longs. I would have much rather either wait for a continuation to take longs or a reversal short. Now once we started displacing up, I go to the high time frame and I think, okay, what's gonna be the drawing liquidity on the buy side? So where does price want to go so we can shift the draw back into? So looking at this high time frame leg, we have a few options here. First would be Q of this range. So if you look here, just hitting this 0.5 zone here, which aligns with this gap. So this is a potential reversal. We also had London highs right here, which is usually when people think of the draw, they think of a high like this, since it's a high time frame. It's a high time frame high, looks good. Now EQ looks nice. London, you can argue it's protected since we filled this 4-hour on the high time frame and we were rejecting from it. So I don't really need it to see London get traded back into. The main thing I was looking for was this 1-hour gap, because this is a premium 1-hour, right? It's sitting above equilibrium, and it's also aligned with this 1-hour CISD here, which validated this breaker. So this was a pretty nice reversal point. So I was waiting for this to get taken and then potentially get shorts out of it. And if it was aligned with like 10 a.m. open, then it would have been even better. Now we keep having this move up, and we have this little accumulation zone here, which looked pretty nice. And the reason this looks pretty nice was because it's created this new leg up, and in this new retracement here is where I place my ABS. Now you can see that we tapped into the 1-hour above during this move up, and that 1-hour CISD that we had. And right when 10 a.m. open, we open also a 15-minute gap, which was right here. This open at 10 a.m. And as you can see here on the low time frame, we tapped into this ABS zone perfectly to the tick, rejected from it, and we got a resweep. And it's really nice to have a resweep inside an ABS zone, because it always gives you a CISD. So if you go to the 30-second here, we have the swing high, we have the resweep, and then we closed below this low. So this is your changing state of delivery in the low time frame. And you can see we're respecting this here. Now at that point, I was pretty confident that we would rebalance this range into this 15-minute or any other gaps down below. So I think, okay, I need my entry. Now you could have entered off of this CISD here using this breaker here, which looks nice. But we also open a 5-minute right before that. So you can see here, we open this 5-minute, and it's kind of annoying to trade against 5 minutes, so I usually wait for it if I have the opportunity. And we ended up getting this inversion right at 10 a.m. So we inverse this gap. So that's where I enter. put my stop at the body in the 5 minutes, so right here. I was pretty confident in this stop. Usually I'd put it at the wick, but because we had the CISD here on the low time frame in this resweep, I was pretty confident that this would hold. So I just put my stop here, and then I full closed at the 15 minute right here. The 15 minute that we opened during 10 a.m. A lot of times when we have a 10 a.m. aligned trade, we'll go into the 15 minute that we opened. So that was my final TP, and I was just full close there. You can see we just went straight to TP. Now, if you decided to hold this trade, which was very possible since this setup was pretty nice, you could have held this either towards this discounted 5 minutes. So every time you have a gap that's aligned with EQ, so like this 15 minutes is nice, but this 5 minute is aligned with EQ, it's discounted, right? So this is also a pretty nice target. And you can see we go towards it, we retrace back to this breaker on the 5 minute, and then we keep going towards this 5 minute right here. So if I had taken partials at the 15 minute and let it run, I definitely full close here. But even if you wanted to, you could cap leaving partials and just letting this run. So if you look at the real high time frame, we ended up going all the way to this low. At this point here, we formed an SMT with ES on this low. So this ended up being a huge trade. We did go back to the 5 minute inversion, so probably you would have gone break even, but still this just proves that the setup was super strong and it shifted the order flow completely. Another thing about this is that after this moved down and we validated this breaker block right here, we also opened a 5 minute gap that was inside this breaker. So if you look at this gap right here, price went back towards it. Right on this swing here, we had an SMT, and every time you have an SMT inside a gap like this 5 minute, it's always a high probability SMT. So we have this SMT inside the 5 minute, inside this breaker. So this is a pretty nice confluence zone, and you could have even gotten a re-entry here. So with like this inversion here, something like that. And you can see it did end up playing out if you capture your stop at the wick. Now this move is easy to get stop rated with this, but it ended up playing out if you had properly placed it. But I do like this setup much more than this one. It's just a possible re-entry. And this is one thing cool about ABS, is that if you lose the first initial entry, usually you can get a re-entry after you tap into the breaker. So yeah, this is the trade I took today. Made a little over 50 or 45k, something like that. And yeah, pretty A plus ABS reversal. Kind of a MAC entry since it was the highest time frame inversion. But yeah, zero drawdown pretty much. Very clean target, aligned with high time frame, aligned with time, aligned with your entry confluences. Doesn't really get much better than that. So yeah, that's it for today, and peace.